The Business of AI podcast, exploring how businesses are using AI to build services and tools, transforming organisations and delighting consumers.
Produced by UKAI and hosted by Zara Shah. Women in AI. AI is our business.
Hi, Emma. Thank you so much for joining the UKAI Women in AI podcast today. We would love for you to introduce yourself and your role.
Yes, thank you, Zara. Thanks for having me. So I'm Emma Beattie. I'm a customer success manager, and I work in the tech sector. So my focus is whether technology is actually delivering value in practice, so not just being implemented. And I naturally look at my work through a people and systems lens. I'm neuro-divergent and also mental health first aider. So I'm very aware from personal experience of the friction and burnout that can occur in the workplace. And that's why I'm particularly interested in AI tools as assistive support. So helping people bring their best selves to work, reduce barriers for some people. And I'm keen to share my lived experience as a neurodivergent working professional in tech.
So could you talk us through your career journey and how did you come to work in the tech sector?
So I didn't grow up thinking I'd work in tech. I was actually told at school, and this is around the age of 12, so late 90s this would have been, that girls weren't very good at it. They weren't very good at tech. And I think that message really stuck with me and made me quite quietly determined to prove that wrong. And I've now worked in tech for nearly 2 decades. And I think for me, what I've always been drawn to is problem solving. So connecting dots and helping people navigate systems that don't quite work as they should. And tech became a place where that kind of all came together, and customer success in particular, I think, sits at the sort of intersection of people, systems, and also change as well. I think along the way, I'm very proud that I've been recognised for the work that I have been doing so far. So I came highly commended at the Women in Tech Excellence Awards last year. So in the Hero of the Year category. And again, I'm very proud to be nominated again this year for 3 award categories. So yeah, very, very exciting to be recognised in Women in Tech Excellence Awards. I think just looking back on my career as well, I think understanding my neurodivergence later in life definitely helped make those career choices make a bit more sense to me. And again, looking back, what felt quite instinctive at the time actually turned out to be exactly how my brain works best.
Congratulations for being nominated.
Thank you. It's a real honour. I mean, there's been some fantastic people that have been nominated, so yeah, amazing.
How has being neurodivergent shaped your experience at work over the years?
So from my experience across different roles and different work environments, work for me felt like something I had to constantly adapt myself to. So I could do the work well, but it came at quite a significant hidden cost. So a lot of masking, over preparing, and putting a huge amount of energy into ensuring I wasn't misunderstood. And over time, that led to periods of burnout. And being late diagnosed reframed that some of my past experiences completely, I realized that it wasn't about my capability. It was about having the right scaffolding in place to bring my best self to work. And ADHD brains are like constantly on. They are always exploring, connecting, and questioning things, which for some people that can be a real strength. But again, if you don't have the right support in place, it can be very exhausting.
Mm-hmm. So what sort of support or assistance has helped you operate effectively in the workplace?
So again, for me personally, the most effective support at work is all about reducing friction. Mm-hmm. So things like having clear communication, being in an environment where you have psychological safety to bring your authentic self to work, and also having an opportunity to externalize like some of my ideas without holding everything in my head. Different brains need different types of scaffolding. And I'm a real strong believer and an advocate that that's something that we shouldn't have to hide, and we shouldn't have to apologize for if our brains work just a bit differently. Because I think what I found is that once I've got the right support in place, I can perform at a high level, and I can do that and sustain my work level without having a negative impact on my mental health.
Mm-hmm. And how did AI tools fit into that picture for you personally?
So I see AI tools, it's certainly how we use them as sort of assistant tools, as actually something that we've been doing at work for decades. Mm-hmm. So using assistants. So I like to think of, if we look at senior leaders, for example, they have PAs, so they can focus on judgment and decision making. And I want to be really clear that PA's value isn't just about efficiency. It's about adding context, providing human understanding and actually genuine support. And I don't think that AI can replace that. Again, AI for me, it helps me reduce my cognitive load. So it helps me get started, structure thoughts, and hold context when ADHD makes that harder. That being said, I'm always really careful and mindful to use AI tools responsibly, focusing on sustainability as well. So, using AI tools intentionally, not just like as a sort of web browser kind of thing, and obviously secure as well. So I'm always very mindful not to use confidential or customer information, for example. So again, AI assistive tools, it's about support. And I always, I think it's becoming more accepted now, but the thinking and the decisions are all still mine. I compare it to like giving someone a pair of glasses. Mm-hmm. It's that kind of thing for me.
Mm-hmm. And from a mental health perspective, what role do you think AI can realistically play for people at work?
So from a mental health perspective, I think that AI can play a role in by reducing some of the sort of background cognitive load that people carry with them sometimes. I mentioned it before, like a lot of burnout comes from the, invisible cognitive effort. Mm. So, decision fatigue, constant self-monitoring, and sometimes adapting to certain expectations in the workplace that you don't really understand. And I think used appropriately, AI can reduce that background load before people reach crisis point. And as a mental health first aider, and obviously coming from, person lived experience, I think having preventative support at work really matters to me and a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the risks and or misunderstandings or challenges you see in how organizations are talking about AI?
So again, I think one of the biggest risks is framing AI purely as a productivity tool. Because I think when we do that, we miss a massive opportunity for its potential to be an accessibility tool. And I haven't really come across anyone who's really talking about that quite openly. And I think the other risk is treating or talking about AI or promoting it as a replacement for human support. So, like I mentioned before, that we already accept other forms of support, like PAs, for example. And I think if we position AI as a replacement, then I think we're not addressing its ethical limitations. And really what AI tools, the real value that people benefit, and, removing some barriers for some people.
Mm-hmm. Are there any final thoughts that you'd like to share with the people watching or listening about AI and neurodiversity?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so I like sort of, if you think of an analogy, like for instance, like the invention of the printing press, and that came about by recognizing a problem. So knowledge just couldn't scale, basically. The ideas existed, but the system for sharing them just couldn't keep up. And the breakthrough wasn't just to have better thinking, it was about removing that bottleneck. And neuro-divergent thinkers often do the same thing at work. So connecting dots, questioning assumptions, solving quite complex problems. And I think organizations need that kind of thinking. AI doesn't generate that insight, but it can remove some of the barriers that stop it being shared more widely. So I think for me, the question isn't whether AI increases productivity. I think it's more about who does it remove barriers for, so they can do their best work and contribute to the sort of working world.
Mm-hmm. Emma, how can people connect with you if they wanted to, get some advice?
So LinkedIn
Mm-hmm.
is absolutely fine. People can message me or connect with me. I share quite openly around neurodiversity and mental health and obviously AI. And I'm also a new author exploring those kind of similar themes as well. So I'm my book's available on Amazon now.
Mm-hmm. What's your book called?
So it's called Unseen.
Mm-hmm.
So, look my name up, Emma Beattie, and the book title's Unseen.
That's great. Emma, thank you so very much for joining the UKAI Women in AI podcast today and sharing your very personal story. And I think it will inspire a lot of ladies and actually people in general who may perhaps are going through similar challenges.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Don't miss the next episode. Subscribe now.
UKAI is the trade association for businesses across the UK. Tech and non-tech, large and small. AI is our business. Find out more at ukai.co.